I'm George Day and I'm Head of Economic Strategy here at the ETI. By deploying biomass effectively, we can cut the cost of meeting the UK's carbon targets in 2050 by around 1% of GDP, so it makes biomass really important in the low carbon transition. Bioenergy can be used and turned into all different kinds of forms of energy. So it can be turned into heat, for example. We can use it in power stations instead of coal, but we can also turn it into gas fuels like hydrogen, which we can use potentially in future low carbon vehicles. So there are all different ways in which biomass can be used to give us different kinds of low carbon energy in the future. One of the other things that's really interesting about biomass is that you can use it to produce energy, but also develop it in combination with what's called carbon capture and storage, which allows you to develop what's called negative emissions, where you're taking carbon out of the atmosphere when you're producing energy and you're storing it permanently underground. This is really valuable for the energy system because it means that you don't have to work so hard to reduce carbon elsewhere in the energy system, particularly in things like transport, where it's really difficult and expensive to cut the carbon emissions for the energy that you need for those applications. The UK actually has a strategic opportunity to produce its own biomass. We do have enough agricultural land that's suitable. The reason why it's so important is that if we rely entirely on imports, then we risk in the long run that we may not be able to get access to enough biomass to fulfill our needs. So the fact that we have our own opportunity to develop our own biomass and to do it sustainably is potentially a great opportunity for the UK. One of the real challenges at the moment is that we don't have joined up policies. Now, if we wanted to develop our own domestic industry, then we'd need to give support to our own growers of biomass and encourage them to adopt that. The characteristics of biomass crops are quite different to the crops that farmers are currently used to. The value chains that we have in the country, the agricultural systems are not currently well adapted to support farmers in growing biomass, and we would need to develop that over time. One of the things that we'd need to make sure was that growing biomass for energy didn't undermine our existing ability to produce food and so on. We think this can be done provided the policies are correctly shaped and give the right incentives to growers. So for more information on this insight and our other insights, please visit the ETI website.